Hey, greetings and salutations from us here in the Leadership Development Office. I'm Jay Nebel, the Executive Director of Continuous Quality Improvement.
Hi, I'm Donna Smith, Project Manager here in Leadership Development.
And we want to take a couple minutes today just to provide you with an overview of how to access, utilize, and the purpose of our solution matrix. We had a great team meeting this week, and our conversation was so robust around our analysis of procedures through the Measuring Procedural Effectiveness tool that we did leave a little bit of work still on the table. We want to guide you to that work today. So I'm going to turn it now to Donna, and she's going to walk us through a path in our team's notebook to access resources and a tool you'll need to complete this work.
Okay. As you know, the best practice that we've talked about is to enter into your team's notebook from the portal page. So I've kind of skipped that just for the purposes of this video and for time. But when you log into your equity team notebook, of course, you're going to go here to your educational opportunities, go over to files, go open your notebook. And the page that we're going to spend our time on today will be your analysis tool template. Give me just a second to expand my screen. So here you've got your 3 phases identified. I know you've seen this before, but under phase 1, there's actually 4 steps identified. Step 1 you've already done. Step 2 is what you just did this week. Step 3 will be at some point, but right now we're going to focus on step 4. These are all live links. Jay's going to explain to you a little bit about what these are and the process from here on out.
Yeah, thank you, Donna. So here at the bottom of phase 1, as Ms. Smith showed us, we have 3 links that we encourage you, 2 that we encourage you to use and 1 that we ask that you use to move through this next step. First link is entitled the Measuring Effectiveness Team Summary. This is that collective report that we referenced in our team meeting this week. This is all of that good work, that rich work that each partnership did as they worked through their procedures, okay, in one form. So this form will provide you with an overview of the procedures identified and the ones that we decided would move through to the next stage of analysis through our solution matrix. Okay, that's a great resource for you to use. Second, you'll see a procedure review checklist. And actually, Don, let's go ahead and open that one up. What we've done here is provide for you literally, okay, a very basic checklist of the 22 procedures that moved through our review yesterday. Okay, we encourage you to print this off, okay, or keep a copy of it electronically. And as you complete a procedures review through the solution matrix, just put a check in the box. Okay, this way you'll ensure that you only do each procedure one time and that you hit each procedure through the solution matrix. So these are 2 great resources, and as Donna goes back to our screen, I want to remind you of a 3rd resource you have, and that is the power of human resources, each other. So I encourage you this week to reach out to each other if you have questions about some of the procedures you reviewed. You can also review the procedures through the procedures links that are provided in the table of contents here in your notebook. But let's take you to the solution matrix really quickly. So this is a tool that we're really proud of, okay, and it's a quality tool that's been used in Gwinnett County Public Schools for years as part of our cross-functional action team process. Okay, but what we've done is kind of updated it, okay, and made it in a way that's more user-friendly and provides for us at the back end a really robust data set. I'm going to briefly go through the purpose of this, and then Don is going to take you through some of its functionality. We're excited about the solution matrix because we believe it gives real voice equity to our group. Each person in the group has an equal opportunity for input. But most importantly, it provides us with a statistical measure of how well our identified procedures align to our equity policy, policy BAAE. And it does this through the lens of 5 criteria that I'm going to show you in just a second. But first, Donna, if you could kind of show us a little bit about its function.
Okay. When you first enter onto your link, it's going to ask you for your name. So I'm just going to put my name in here. And it's going to ask me what focus area team I'm a part of. So for you guys, it's going to be the educational opportunities. This is important data just so that we can keep each procedure matched to the team. I'm going to stop here for just a second and let Mr. Nebel talk to you about the criteria that you're evaluating each of the procedures on.
Correct. Okay, thank you. So what we see here are 5 different lenses for us to look at each procedure through. Okay, so as you consider a procedure, we want you to look at it through the following 5 criteria. First, asking yourself, how well does this align and provide support How well does this undergird our equity policy? Okay, does this procedure, okay, move kids towards more equitable educational outcomes? Okay, does it help us close, okay, those gaps that we've talked about? So what is its alignment to the equity policy? Then we drill down a little bit into that in these next four. Second one is, does it address all stakeholders' concerns? If you recall, through our measuring procedural effectiveness tool, we talked about the intersection of all the different student groups we served. But then we also talked about our other internal stakeholders, our teachers and our staff. And we talked about all of our external stakeholders, our community members. How well does this procedure address stakeholder concerns? Third, and I always like to put one of the most important pieces in the middle. That's the middle of our target. How well does this procedure address opportunity and achievement gaps among various student groups? Does it close those gaps that we've identified through our data overviews? Fourth, what, in your opinion, is our capacity as a district to implement this procedure? What's our ability to implement it? And fourth, and very importantly, sustainability. Are we able to monitor and measure this procedure through the use of data? We heard frequently yesterday, okay, from many of our partnerships that more data was needed. Okay, so this is an important piece when you think about the sustainability, okay, of a procedure. Now, as you consider these 5 procedures, you're going to rate them in one of 3 ways. This will help us correlate the procedures to the policy once each team member has finished with the solution matrix. So you'll consider your procedure and you'll ask yourself, how well does this align to the equity policy? Is there a low correlation, a moderate correlation, or a strong correlation? And you'll give a corresponding score of either 1, 3, or 5. You'll repeat this process for each of the 5 criteria for that procedure. Donna, if you could take us a little further into the solution matrix and just kind of show how it populates. It's very user-friendly and I think efficient, and Donna's going to show you that now.
Okay. The next section that you have is which policy bucket basically did your procedures come out of. For your purpose, all of your procedures came out of J, which correlates with students. So as soon as you populate the student box, you will see all of your 32 procedures that came up for students. Now, the easiest thing to do at this point, you don't have to evaluate every one of these. You're going to print your checklist out, which is what I've done here. And I would encourage you not to do this all in one sitting. I'm going to do the first 3 right now, just to show you how it's going to work. The first one on your list from yesterday, if you're looking at the checklist, is the approved international exchange program. All right, you'll see that one right here. The second one that you guys identified was the student performances. This list here is alphabetical. So I'm going to go down here and find my student performance. I'm going to click that one on. The next one was fundraising. So I'm going to go back up here and click on fundraising. So right now, these are the 3 that I'm going to use the criteria that Mr. Nebel described and evaluate. What this tool does is as you click on each procedure, it will automatically populate for you a matrix that you can easily click, whether you're rating it a low correlation, a medium correlation, or a high based on those 5 indicators. So just for us to observe here, I'm going to just kind of randomly click in here so that you can see it's usually very simple to do. These are mandatory, so they're fixed so that you have to. If you accidentally forget a row, it's going to tell you that, and it won't let you go any further, which is a good thing because sometimes these are kind of hard to click. And then I'm going to submit my form. When you submit your form, you're just going to get a message that you've submitted it. But what this does ultimately that I want to show you within the tool is we're going to be able to provide, and this is a very quick, it's not quite finished yet, overall score for how you as a team might have rated each. This is a percentage out, a score out of 5 that averages that we can rank so that Dr. Welch will be able to see which of yours you feel the most passionate about needing some additional review. And now I'm going to kick it back to Mr. Nebel to kind of finish you up.
Yeah, that was a great summary. And this is the part, like as Donna said, that we're most excited about. When you get to this point where you've submitted, it will populate each member of the team's work and provide us kind of a cumulative score, as Donna said, an average, for how well we feel as a team each of these procedures aligns to that equity policy. This will fuel our discussion next week and help us narrow this field of 32, which is now down to 22, to an even smaller number of procedures. So just a couple of best practices, and then we're going to end this session. One, we recommend that you use your resources, that you reference the resources provided, particularly the checklist. And then each time you do a procedure, you knock it off that checklist. We encourage you not to do all 22 in one sitting. We think that will cause a little fatigue. Okay, that a fresh mind is the best mind, and that you do maybe 3 to 4 at a time. Okay, because you see it is a pretty efficient process and hopefully won't take too long. And then third, if there's any questions you have, you reach out to the team members who had those procedures. And if you have any questions about the tool, that you reach out to us here in the Leadership Development Office. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your dedication to this task. And thank you, quite frankly, for being an amazing team. Have a great day.